status on orchard 1 because there was a triage before, so we need to see what happened there. Maybe nothing, maybe something. Orchard pool. So updates, Style.Include and Script.Include register the wrong resource key in debug mode. Yes, and I find so. This is interesting. This is a PR from Hermes, and you know what? You see Hermes, Marco, Giuseppe, Lorenzo, Marco, Lorenzo, Hermes. Something I noticed. I don't see Matteo anymore. I'm wondering if he's still working at Laser, because I don't see him committing anymore, and used to be the biggest committer. So Style.Include and Script.Include register the wrong resource key in debug mode. This one is interesting. Let me show you. I will open the issue actually that is related to that. Because this one is interesting. Orchard. Pull request closed. This one. Fix this one. It was not obvious at first, but he's doing this thing. Ready? In this include, there is the debug version and the release version, which is minified. Same thing here. Debug version, release version. Okay, and same thing here, debug, release. But if you look at the value here, in debug, this is web font, this is jQuery migrate, this is slick.js. And in release, it's head deferred, head deferred, head deferred. So the release version is the same for the three of them, because the release version actually embeds, bundles every one of these and minifies that. So there is just one release version for the three of them. It's not like, so it's like this is one script but made of this one, and this one. So this is interesting because we usually never do that in the main resource manager or in the main modules we have. We usually have one non-minimized version for that. Okay? But here it's declared as the source of the three of them. So the issue that happened is that in this case, it will, I think, register the three of them because we were using this as the key or something like that to find if the resource was already defined or not. And the change is to actually use a different key, which is, you see here, if you are asking for the debug mode, then it will use the debug value of the key, otherwise it will use the release value of the key. And before, I assume we were using always the resource, what was the key before? Require resource debug path, maybe, and resource path. So maybe we're using a debug path, and now it's switching between, or maybe something else, but at least now it's switching between the correct debug release value. So that's interesting. I find an issue on Orchard Core, so we can do the same thing. That's a good idea. Okay, so that was it. Then projection fixing the reference exception in field type editors. 7 days ago, so I assume it was triaged and everything while I was not there. But fixing the refs are always good. fast. Maybe it's in the method that is called. Yes, that's it. That's where the test is. Okay. Okay. Good. That's for Orchard 1. Questions? No questions. Orchard Core. So when was it? 7? It was not. It was 14 days ago. So that was there. So what happened? What happened? Let's see. This is 6-thread node bootstrap 4.3. So this is a branch, I assume. Not yet merged. We'll see. Dev. Where is dev? Let's focus on dev. Dev. Nothing? Nothing. Redirecting user to confirmation page. Okay, and then updating readme because update of Visual Studio, that's it. Beta 3. So we didn't merge anything in dev. Yeah, sure. But sometimes things, well, yes and no. I mean, if I die, feel free to merge anything, okay? What you think is good. But yeah, I didn't see any PR approved or merged, but I thought we would have done something between the Wednesday and the Tuesday and the Friday, and or someone might have pushed something if it was obvious or a rip commit. Okay, so nothing in dev. So let's see the PRs then, because I know that there's been a lot of PRs and work, maybe not directly in the code, but in GitHub. We can look at that. Let's look at it in GitHub because there has been a lot of activity. I followed some of it. A first remark, we merged less than 1,000 PRs on Orchard 1. We are already at 1,400 PRs merged or close, but mostly merged in Orchard Core. Okay, just seeing that we have way more PRs on GitHub than Orchard 1. Then 54 pull requests is way too much, and it's good to have so much, but it's way too much that we haven't merged or gave feedback for them in time, but because also we were shipping beta 3, we'll talk about it after, or now. So since last time we met, we shipped beta 3. I'm not sure we went on the site to show the difference, because last time we talked about the site, how to change it, and I did the changes. Based on some feedback from Bertrand, I simplified the headline, the tagline: open source modular multi-tenant application framework and CMS for ASP.NET Core. Okay, and I think I also updated it on the main GitHub repository. I didn't change it there. I thought I did. Maybe I changed it in README. I changed it somewhere else too. But this one is cleaner, simpler for a website at least. Try Orchard goes to Try Orchard project. And Antoine told me that we had lots of sites created. How many did you say? More than 100 in last week or during the month?
300 in 2 weeks.
300 in 2 weeks. That's good. I only created 2 of them, just to show the goodness of the thing. And people were amazed every time we showed that. What? Can do that? Yeah. So that, what did I do? Link to the quick start, create a new project, because it's very important when they go on the site, they know what to do, try Orchard or create a new project. Link to the documentation, the forum is Gitter, source is the source, Docker images. It used to be a zip file, and at that time I didn't have the zip file because we didn't have tags on the GitHub. Now we could have link to the zip file, but that's good to point to the Docker images. It's just to point to Docker Hub, which has updated also documentation, 10,000 and 5,000 for the Windows. This seems weird, 5,000 for the Windows. It was not that much a week ago, 2 weeks ago when you published. It was very low, which is more expected because almost nobody is running Windows Docker images, mostly Linux Docker images. Even on Docker for Windows, the default is Linux images. So this is weird, but I don't have more stats than that. But this has been updated. And the tags, you see 1.0.0 beta 3. You can use latest for the latest public release, or specify beta 3, or dev for the dev branch. So that works. Link to the podcast, which is the one right now. 4 websites in Orchard Core, and the legacy Orchard is there with the old tagline, the old site, and the other portfolio. Oh, and by the way, based on Jasmine's feedback, if we click that, no, we can click there, Orchard Core, portfolio, link to the sites, nice sites. There will be more. This timeline also has changed. Flexible content management. This is the same as previous. Fully coupled or headless CMS. This is very important to mention that you can do that. Modular, obviously. Multi-tenant, obviously. Speed. Speed. Multi-platform. Workflows. Partners, the same. Didn't change anything here. What would be awesome also would be to have links to, you remember I talked about it and Daniel said you will do them if I provided the scripts, videos about everything we show here, like 2 minutes video about how you create a content type and you manipulate that, 2 minutes video how you use GraphQL for instance, or Razor Page, 2 minutes video to enable a feature, 2 minutes video to show how fast it is, multi-tenancy, workflows. That will convince people to use it, probably, or to try it, because it's not obvious it can do everything like this. So that's an idea for next things to do. So shipped, it's on NuGet. There has been 2 releases on NuGet.org because I suck. So if I look at Orchard Core, this is a new package, so it's only available since beta 3, and you will see there are 2 packages, one during one day and one the other one, because we merged on master, and then later on I created a tag for beta 3, so we know which commit was beta 3, and by creating the tag, AppVeyor restarted a build and republished everything on NuGet. No consequence at all, but just we have to release for beta 3, that's okay. And I would have to change the AppVeyor script to not deploy or build probably on tags, but just on commits and master. So that's good. Next version will have the YAML.net removed. We kept it. We don't use YAML at all anymore, but we kept it for the migrations from beta 2 to beta 3 because we convert all the YAML files to JSON, so we still need YAML for the conversion. But now, for the next release, we won't have YAML.net, so we could already remove it, or not, or just when we ship the new version. So we let people migrate to beta 3 in the meantime. Is that it for the release? What else? The documentation, but Antoine had already done the change as only one version, so we always have the latest up-to-date version of the documentation. And it's beautiful. That's it. About the release, I think it went well. good adoption. I didn't hear anything wrong about the release, meaning no bugs or blocking things. Everyone who tried it, it worked perfectly, so that's good. Sometimes we have to ship quick patches to fix last minute bugs. Lots of friendship about media. Oh, he said there are issues with that. Then, if I look at the PRs, so now we have Sheet Beta 3. We can merge all the things that were blocked waiting for Beta 3, and we already approved, but we'll do a last review. So I think this thing was not finished. We have to check. This bit worked again on that. There are new commits on this thing, so it's well alive, and that's good. So you see, so let's look at all the PRs that are waiting for being merged, all good stuff. I think spatial. How do you say that in English? Spatial? It's not spatial, it's spatial. What's the pronunciation for this one? Anyone knows? It's not spatial, because spatial is spatial. You can't type it, you have to spatial. What's the difference in pronunciation between that and that? There must be one. Is there? No, Jasmine, you don't count. You're Canadian. You have a wrong English accent. Mine is worse, but okay, we'll check for next week. So we have, where was I? Here. Enable username and email as login credential. I think the issue is that right now you can only use the username and not the email. Adding some support for profile scope claims. User profile claims that can be returned when requested. Okay, add render property on content item type. I did something a long time ago. Probably for GraphQL. Probably for GraphQL, so we can render. Yeah, I think that's it. So it's refactoring, so we can render a content item as part of GraphQL. There is a, yeah. Oh, I see. Render property. Okay. And content item. Yes, that's for GraphQL. So you have a render, and then if you invoke the render property on GraphQL, you can get the HTML of the content item. So that on the client side, you can ask for server-side rendering and get it from GraphQL. It must be super useful. Add custom widget styles and classes with Flow. This one also interesting. We gave some feedback, and I think he reacted to that. This is we can customize for each widget in the flow the classes and styles we could add. I think we asked, just don't remember, we talked about adding or not the styles, and maybe also how it's handled in the editor or in the JSON document. So just to be able to customize the widgets. And later on we could also provide a list of available classes for each widget, because sometimes we need some little variations for each widget that don't require a new widget but just a CSS class. Fix HTML in route views to remove improper use of field set. Yes, so we used a lot of field set tags. This is a recommendation to not use them anymore, and some replacement. There is a bug apparently with the Lucene sort field, but we need more work on Lucene, including the SPATIAL feature. That and more Elasticsearch filters. Not all of them are implemented, and on Gitter we found that sometimes some queries were not doable with the limited set of Elasticsearch filters we have. We have a bunch of them, but not everything. We need more. Upgrading from Boeing and other libraries. Add a README to health check. I think at that time I didn't like what was done. It didn't help in any way. But we have health check support, something I never mentioned actually. A better email regular expression, and there is a suggestion to use a different one in this PR. Content field indexing, this also to be able to index the fields in SQL. That will go in. Name clash issue for GraphQL, create Orchard Core profile module for front-end users. So extensible profile module, so we can, based on other features, add more fields to a user profile. And also it contains a controller to be able to render these extensibility points on the front end. So the idea is that you can extend the profile page on the front end of a user. Okay, so very useful. So for instance, an e-commerce site could provide the payment methods in the profiles, things like this. In extend service collection to update web root file provider. I don't know what it is. Working on shell scopes. This is Jean-Thierry who refactored everything about shell scopes. Take into account path base to map between media path and URL. I think this will be fixed once we have the CDN updates we talked about 2 weeks ago. Update the theme. I have to check what it is, I don't remember. SEO module by Seth Cleaver. Refactoring about the unauthorized results. Right now we return unauthorized results, but it's not the best results we could provide. We need to switch between forbid and challenge based on whether the user is authenticated or not. We could have merged it right before the release, but if we do the change, we should do it everywhere we use that thing, and it was not the case in this PR, so I postponed it. Sitemaps module, super useful. Attach media field, super useful. UI for page size, so we can change the page size. I think that's it. The check allows add routes after tenant. So Jean-Thierry working on low-level stuff. I didn't see the one about distributed services. Yes, distributed services. This one will have to merge soon. It's a big one, but very interesting one. Allowing to start working on clusters. Prevent from having an anti-forgery validation exception on a new setup. Minor issue is just that we talked about it. If I don't like the change here, I prefer, it's kind of a hack to remove a log issue. The issue being that if you've already set up a site by the past on the same URL, like in development, if you reset up a new one, then the first time you go on the setup screen, the cookie you had from the previous site of the anti-forgery token won't match the new site you are creating on the same URL. So you will have something wrong in the log only, and only if you develop, and only if you have created multiple sites on the same URL. So that's a minor issue. But the fix itself is kind of hacking the way we do anti-forgery tokens, so I prefer not to take it. Localization part, so culture, content item localization. Very important feature. Not that much code, so I know Antoine has tested it, and I need also to look into that. I'm not sure what's the status, if he's blocked or if it's working fine. Features matrix, which is a list of features of Orchard to add in documentation, so that people don't have to look for what works and what doesn't work when they compare CMSs. Migration to 3.0. I saw the last commit was about 3.0 preview 5. Is it released? I don't know. A lot of breaking changes in 3.0, so Jean-Thierry has already started a PR for that. And we'll migrate to 3.0 if we haven't shipped before 3.0, and if 3.0 goes live, like the licenses where it's supported and it won't break anything else after that, before we ship also. Make settings the page title format accessible to site administrator. So Seth created some settings where you can define a template, a liquid template, to define how the title is rendered in the pages. So we can change that, like changing the separator or specifying that we want the site name before the title of the page, or we just want the title of the page, or just a site name. So it's a template now. New CSS classes for page or links. This is a documentation change, and I gave some feedback because it was wrong actually. User cannot reset password unless email confirmed. Fix, and I think users, yes, can't reset their password if the user if the email has been confirmed, and I think it depends on a feature that has to be enabled, so he's fixing that. Don't remember exactly the reason. Empty RSS. So these ones all are new to me. If I unfold them, provide empty RSS feed description and better RSS feed encoding. So apparently improvement on RSS feed. Okay, I see. And some parts might be empty, like the flow part. Interesting. But a better fix for that. Oh, there was an exception. Now it's not null anymore. It will actually be filled with something. Updating Bootstrap. User-friendly pop-up messages when unpublishing item or discarding drafts. I see. Are you sure you want to unpublish this item instead of? It's not instead of, it's just, yeah, it's just a specific warning message instead of the generic one. Are you sure that's it? That's good. Add remove button in content item edit page and add editor URL filter. Add remove button. Interesting. So remove button from the edit page. I have to look into that. Duplicate local time zone item. I think I commented on this one. I need to look because I think we just meant that we said this behavior is intentional, and we just need to explain in the UI what that means. That we have to check add user avatar into admin site. So I saw a snapshot that adds the user avatar. We file an issue, it's pointed there to add the avatar at the top right with the name of the currently authenticated user. I have to check if we need a tag helper, and if so, where it's done. We'll see later. That's a good thing, and I think Antoine mentioned if we have a tag helper, why not also have a liquid filter, but at the same time, a liquid filter or liquid tag or maybe liquid filter. At the same time, if we have a tag helper, we already have a liquid filter because there is a bridge. Well, we can register the bridge from the liquid filter to the tag helper. We have to look into that. This one, so Hishamco is super active right now on core. So we have avatar support calendars, so very interesting because every language can have its custom calendar. We filed an issue recently, not maybe recently, someone was asking, but I explained recently what had to be done because we have a PR in Orchard 1 that was done by Daniel 6 years ago, or sorry, 5 years ago, and technically it was just about to replicate the behavior of Orchard 1, which I assume this PR is doing, and I will just have to. I think I added 1 or 2 comments. Yes, that I don't like to have a dependency on load time from the abstractions. I don't think it's necessary. We'll see. I will review that. But we have a PR for calendars, which is awesome. We have a PR for RTL support in the admin theme. Again, I have some feedback and comment on that. And this morning there was an article I saw about RTL and Spotify. Not the artist. This one. So I will. So what the PR is doing here, it's using a gulp pipeline that will convert the admin.css into RTL by switching all the left margin to a right margin and so on. And it looks like it's working, but there are flaws with that solution. I will explain in the PR. And this article explains how Spotify, you see it was released today, how Spotify is doing that by a similar technique, but not using the same pipeline that the PR from Ishamco is using, but post CSS RTL. So it's the same process but a different library. And it looks like this one solves part of the issue I saw with the one that Isham is using, which is that it's not replacing the existing CSS, but extending it with more rules that are specific for RTL. Okay, and this I think is better because we won't have to switch which CSS we use based on RTL or not. It's one CSS which will adapt the look and feel based on RTL or not. And this is better because it will let us do it automatically for any CSS that we want to, instead of having to manually specify which CSS we want to transform and which CSS we want to include. But it shows more than just margin left, margin right, or text align, all the things that you have to take into account with RTL. Super interesting. So this article needs to be put inside the issue that referenced. So RTL replacing the default mail sender by MailKit, because there is a warning right now that the one from the library itself from .NET Core that we should not use that, and there is an open bug for that. Templates refactoring, I have no idea what it is. Missing localization, fixed email template. That looks very good. And that looks good also. I have to think about it. Apply dynamic content type permissions to admin menu. Good, because apparently it was not impacting the admin menu, and it should. Allow content item to be copied. Interesting. I thought we had that. Or is that the clone? Or is that something else? It looks like a clone, but it's part of localization. I have to check that, because we have clone. We did clone, or maybe it's missing the. I don't know. Image helper CDN app setting. So apparently, Dean reacted to, or maybe not, but to the issue we created and the things we talked about CDN. I don't know if that's it, but the title looks like that, CDN URL. I like it, and it's in the media settings. I like it. And is there one also for static files? I don't see it for static files. No, media. No, what do you say? Media and resources. Yes, resources is the other one we need to have. But yeah, we can do that in 2 steps. So I will look into that. Very interesting. Sad that it's not referencing the issue. No, it should replace that, so that's what I'm concerned about. Pull request, we have then update shell container creation. I don't know what it is, but we trust Chantery. Image helper CDM setting, we saw that. Is it the same thing? Yeah. Resource manager shouldn't depend on HTTP context accessor. I looked at the PR. I have to check if this is what I meant, but it looks like what the issue that is referenced is about. So we'll look. So all these PRs, 54 PRs, some of them will get some feedback, some of them will get merged. We'll see how many and how fast we can do that. But yeah, we can be more aggressive than before merging beta 3. Questions? We'll do more triage on the issues on Thursday to triage everything. And you see not that many more things since the last 2 weeks, about 10 new issues, which is very low rate compared to what we have usually, which is good. Questions? Comments? What did I miss while I was out? Next release will be release candidate. Once we have the localization work done, that's the only constraint we have. So that can be quick. We already have all the PRs ready. We have RTL, we have culture calendar, and we have the content item localization part. They might not be done, but it's very good that we already have some PRs to work on. Super nice. So that might be super fast. And then all the other ones to improve all the modules, all the features. Yeah, Bertrand is working on his e-commerce module. We still need to see a demo of that. At least there is work. That's good. Progress is good. Or maybe he's waiting to make it better than anything else before showing it. After all.
Sorry, what?
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 What? I say maybe you are waiting for it to be the best ever before showing it.
What? For what to be the best?
Oh, Jasmin was mentioning you are working on your e-commerce module.
Yeah. No, I'm currently working on product attributes. I already have basic products working. So product attributes are stuff that the end user can add to a product, like a t-shirt size or color or stuff like that. And I'm building that based on the field infrastructure. So they're kind of special fields, but they are fields. And I expect that to be done probably by the end of the weekend. When it's done, I'll just push the branch and you'll be able to see it.
Cool.
And after that, what's next is the shopping cart.
Awesome. Great, thank you. So we'll soon have a demo. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Any other questions? Hopefully we'll get some content localization / content culture management and RTL demos next week. I hope I can merge these PRs because they will be very important for us. Good then. Priorities in those PRs. What are the priorities in those PRs? The easiest ones to merge will be merged first. Yeah, localization is very important for us, so I will try to give feedback on them. And also the one from Jean-Thierry about distributed services, because this is one of the oldest ones, and also very important, and that can open many scenarios for customers. The CDN one also I'd like to get it merged, because there is an issue with Azure Blob Storage right now, and that will fix it. And that will also allow for super awesome performance on websites by using the CDNs. Good. Okay, thanks. Yes, SQL PR. There is no Yes SQL PR. Yes SQL is awesome. Yeah, big integers to support. An issue with MySQL foreign key from Siaman, and which I think I reviewed with him and should be ready. Actually, I should merge it. And sign packages. Okay, so not that many issues. No issues. Just better stuff. Okay, thanks everyone. See you on Thursday. Bye bye.